Hey guys, I decided to try something a little different today. As a retired TCG player, I don't feel like I have necessarily the best TCG content to really make as far as advice and that sort of thing goes. But when I talk to people, one of the things they notice is that I do have a lot of interesting stories, and that's the type of thing that really never goes away, obviously. I'm going to potentially start a new series, or at least do this one, called TCG Stories. And I'm just going to, not go in chronological order or anything, but just, maybe every week, every month, tell one story that I think is kind of interesting and might be a valuable lesson to some people. And this story is called Black Kept Me From Coming Back. And this story is about actually why I quit Magic the Gathering. So this one isn't about Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, it's like kind of related, but people may remember sort of my infamous "Hey, here are the 100 reasons why Magic the Gathering is better than Yu-Gi-Oh." Some of those reasons were somewhat sarcastic, but most were pretty legitimate. And of course, one of the obvious ones that I sort of really latched onto, as well as a lot of other people that went over from Yu-Gi-Oh to Magic, is the fact that their prize support is way better. And that's just like kind of a fact, right? I mean, it's there's not really any debate over which game has better prize support. Magic, has Pro Tours with the first place prize of whatever it is these days, $40,000, $50,000, and Yu-Gi-Oh gives away like mats and handshakes. So so that's kind of like the background there. So I played Magic for a very long time, but it was in mid 2013, so about March 2013, that I totally dropped Yu-Gi-Oh and said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to Magic. This game's better, and I kind of never looked back for a while, and my way of thinking really changed at what I didn't know at the time would be my last Magic the Gathering event that I ever played in. Actually, I think I maybe went to one more. Did I? I don't know. I think it was my last. I think maybe I went to like one more Grand Prix or something in Florida. But this was like one of my last events. And this event was a Star City Games Invitational in Seattle. So this event was in December of 2014. So we're talking about a year and a half after like I totally shifted my focus from Yu-Gi-Oh over to Magic. So I this was a really important event to me. I prepped pretty well. I brought some good decks. It was a multi-format event, so I was prepared for both Standard and Legacy. So those were the two events, and I had a very unique resource that I would not normally have. So, and that is that of course, TCG players, when we travel to these faraway events, I was going from Florida to Seattle. We typically like to share hotel rooms, right? We're all not loaded, so I had the unique privilege of being able to share this particular hotel room with some Magic players who are far better than I am, and one in particular, his name is Samuel Black. And that's kind of what this story is about today, sort of hence the punny title. And at the time, he was top 10 in the world. I don't know where he is today, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's still top 10 in the world. He's very good. So I had never really had any sort of this is going to sound gay, but close encounter with a Magic player of that caliber before. So I did talk to him some, along with the other people in our room, and he, of course, thought it was interesting that I had sort of recently come over from, semi-professional Yu-Gi-Oh to, hopefully semi-professional Magic. So he asked me a bit about that, and I told him what I told everyone else, which is, hey, Magic has way better prize support. Duh. Why would anyone want to play Yu-Gi-Oh? And he's kind of like, well, you're not wrong, that Magic has better prize support, but he kind of said, realized that this is not like some uh, this is not like some get rich quick scheme, right? He said, I'm top 10 in the world, playing this game professionally, and like on a good year, I make $30,000 to $40,000 off this game, right? This is a guy who's like among the best in the world. He is like the top 0.00001%, and he's like, yeah, if you're in the top 0.0001%, your peak is going to be like $40,000 a year. So he wasn't trying to convince me not to play Magic, but he was just kind of pointing out that you shouldn't really like be in this game for money because it's not there, right? It would be like, I can't even think of like a good example. But there's certain careers in the real world that don't make a lot of money either, so you shouldn't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to make a lot of money off something when you really aren't. I don't know if I explained that well. So, he's kind of like, hey, if you're going to be good at this game, it can't be about the money because you're not going to make any money and then you're going to be frustrated and then you won't get better. So, I think if someone else had told me that, like sort of a random person at locals, I probably would have just like blew them off and just been like, oh yeah, you're an idiot, what do you know or whatever. But this was a guy who was like giving me really honest and, unsolicited advice, and the type of person that I obviously really respected. And it kind of got me thinking about the game and realized that I was like playing for the wrong reasons. And that was when I decided to quit Magic. I mean, it might seem kind of weird, but I think a lot of people, they play like whatever game it is they play, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic, something totally different like a video game or whatever, and like they don't even really know why they play. They just know that they do. Like, oh, I've been playing for so many years, like why would I stop now? And that was kind of the mentality that I had with Yu-Gi-Oh for a long time, right? I played, I guess, for many, many years, over, at least about a decade. And for a while, I was just playing it because, like, oh, this is what I'm good at. Yu-Gi-Oh sucks, but this is what I'm good at. I've been doing this for many, many years. Why would I stop now? But then when I went over to Magic, I kind of viewed it as like a logical choice, right? Here are all the reasons why this is better. And, I think ultimately I realized after this sort of interesting discussion is that, like, deciding what game it is that you're going to take up, it's never really a logical choice. Like, people make fun of me because I'm a very logically oriented person, but I've realized today that there are some things that are just not really meant to be logical decisions, and I think that is one. So the moral of the story is, it's up to you to decide what game to play, and it should really be because you love the game and not like fool yourself into thinking that, oh, I'm doing this for the money. Because even though there are some games, for example, various esports where people do make like, $100K a year, that's not ever why they decide to start playing, right? Like, I don't know what the most profitable esport is right now, but say it's like League of Legends, right? Like, no one starts playing League of Legends and becomes like the best in the world because they're thinking to themselves, oh, I want to make six figures a year playing a video game. It's the love of the game that drives them to become so incredibly good that they are able to make that kind of money. So at the end of the day, regardless of what game you decide to play, the motivation needs to be your love of the game and your passion for it, and not because, oh, this game has like slightly better price support than that game, so I'm just going to be switch. So that was kind of something that I never really told anyone. So I guess let me know what you guys think about my take on that issue, and let me know if you'd enjoy me telling some of these other stories that I never really got the chance to tell to too many people. So yeah, thanks for watching.